Good morning, gamers, and today we will be pushing the limits to how unhinged Roblox games can be, because today we will be creating a Roblox game with unique personality. This game doesn't just try to kill you, it hates you, like deep down. So yeah, welcome to Roblox games that hate you. This is my life now. Starting off in the base plate, and I really want to get the layout of the game done quickly, so I searched in the toolbox and started with the classic crossroads map, because if you're going to suffer, then at least do it somewhere iconic. Then I added a text label onto the player screen so that the server can send their complaints to the player. And now it was time to add the server script. We're going to use this to communicate to the player using the text label that we added earlier. While I'm typing this code, I want to remind you that the subscribe button exists. I feel like that people that watch YouTube nowadays forget that this button exists, and I really need to surpass 5.4k subscribers. I've been stuck trying to get this milestone for years! Okay, back to the video. After typing out the code, I tested it out, and sure enough, it functions! This game sucks, but I realized at that moment how I could have easily ruined my reputation. Originally, I made it say things like, "Go away," and "I hate you," and "I always will." That might be a little bit too harsh to sound like a 7-year-old. If I wanted to make a successful Roblox game that doesn't give my players depression, I had to tone it down to sound more like an actual Roblox player. Next up, I needed enemies. The game is strong enough, but it can't exactly fight us directly. So I brought out an NPC, changed its colors, and added a highlight. I just thought it would look cool. And then I coded the NPC to chase and damage you. It's simple, it's clean, it doesn't follow restraining order. It's the perfect little gremlin for this game. And the best part is that I can clone it whenever. Which was a mistake, because you'll see later, I abused that power. Now for the player's weapon, I opened the toolbox, scrolled past a bunch of garbage, and found this admin chain gun. Was it balanced? No. Did I care? Also no. It shot over 100 bullets a second, and of course it was gold. That was enough for me. Of course the server didn't like that. It immediately started trash talking me for being paid to win. Which, I mean, really? No one makes pay to win games anymore. I mean, think about it. Is being pay to win really what Roblox games are about? Okay, maybe. Anyways, back from that dilemma, the server then responded by spawning 50 enemies. Sounds terrifying until you remember you had a gun that basically eradicates NPCs from their existence. But here's the thing, I didn't want the player to keep that gun forever, because being generous to the player doesn't make good content. So I took it away. Mid-game, just poof. Oh, and here's a sword. Good luck. Then it was time for the real game, the endless spawner. And I've planned out 5 things this game does to troll the player and make them report the game for being devious. The first thing was spawning enemies. That's it. I placed 4 spawn points around the map. I originally scripted it to make small amounts roll in, but for some reason, big groups of zombies would start spawning, which convinced me that the game hated my logic. But it's better this way. The second element is bombs. I wanted chaos. If I wanted to make a truly unfair game, I had to unleash my terrorizing capabilities into a kid's game. So I created these black spears because bombs are black spears. Then I got to work figuring out how to create explosions. And the first time I made an explosion work, it was all I needed to cleanse my eyes and unite mayhem to this game. Anyways, I ruined the joy by interrupting the player with these to make them spawn on their own. I also kept some code to keep them constantly spawning at 2 to 4 bombs a time. The third thing was to make the server spawn enemies onto the player's location. So for this section, I ran the same code I used to spawn the enemies, but I changed the location to the player's location, and the code worked just fine. The problem? Plain sight limitations. You see, because the server is spawning multiple groups of enemies at a time, you're going to have a group of NPCs on your tail. Because of this, any enemies that spawn in don't look like it has been spawned in. They're just being ghosted by the player's anxiety. So to solve this issue of some NPCs lacking recognition, I went back to the workspace and I changed the color of them to contrast more, and for fun, I gave a minor health buff to their health. You know, just to make them harder to kill. Next is the fourth feature, stealing the player's weapon. If the server is capable of stealing the admin gun, then surely it is able to steal a measly sword. Is there a reason? Probably not. This game just goes like, you don't deserve this anymore. Of course, with no weapon, you just run. And that's when I realized the NPCs couldn't jump, which means theoretically, not even close. I couldn't let cowards get away with this. If I left this unintentional feature in the game, anyone would fathom winning strategies. I know that would happen, because that's what I did. So I added a 5th spawn point high up, and now cowards have a smaller purpose to camp on stairs. But eventually, the server started lagging. This was an intentional piece of my master storytelling skills. This petty little game doesn't approve of this, so it made it give the player the sword back, cleared all the enemies, and then it spawned itself. The game was the 5th and final obstacle the player would face. Remember how I said the game can't fight us directly? Well, joke's on those who believe that. I added the game as an entity, A giant black 7,500 HP nightmare. At first it was uneven for us, because the NPC had 7,500% of the player's HP, and it dealt damage that will wipe out 25% of our HP. And then I decided, let's make it more uneven. The game would eventually complain about the speed advantage, so it made itself faster than me. However, one disadvantage of this was its massive size, meaning you'd be able to find one small structure, set up a base there, and he wouldn't be able to get through. And that's how I destroyed a giant evil guy, the size of a skinwalker, and intentions equivalent to a mafia boss. Psych! When it hit 5,000 HP, it would actually start spawning minions. These minions were just fast, tanky, little clones of itself. I originally made them spawn in endless groups at very frequent times, but this decision led to a doomed aftermath. I decided to cap the minion count to 3 minions. Then, at 2,500 HP, it added bomber minions. These are like your door-to-door salesmen of death. These guys carry a bomb, which in 6 seconds will explode, and if you kill them early, then the bomb drops. Also, it still explodes. Fun fact, these bombs can also damage the boss, which is hilarious. Imagine being killed by your own child. Finally, after way too long, I killed the game, which caused the server to crash because, you know, when the game dies, so does everything else. And that's how I accidentally created the most toxic Roblox game ever. I'm proud of it, and I hate it, just like it hates me. Subscribe for more unhinged Roblox creations, or don't. The server probably hates you anyways.